tens of billions of dollars accidentally given to users on a crypto exchange. We're also going to talk about AI and crypto. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and billions of dollars in crypto. It's honestly crazy once you really understand how much money the Trump family has made thanks to cryptocurrencies. We're going to talk about MegaETH also. We're going to talk about XRP, about a lot of different stuff. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CryptoRed, the channel for crypto news. Crypto is down today. BTC is below 70K, Ethereum around 2K, Solana down 5%. So yeah, another rough day for cryptocurrencies. Let's talk about an exchange that has a huge issue. We're going to talk about a Korean exchange called Bithumb. They were supposed to give out 2,000 won, basically something like $1 to a certain number of users. So it wasn't supposed to be worth much at all, but they messed up. And instead of giving 2,000 won, they gave 2,000 BTC to each user. I don't know if you realize how insane that is. We're talking about a massive amount. I've seen figures like $30 billion distributed. I've seen below 90 billion also. So either way, it's basically between 30 and $100 billion that was handed out by mistake to users. And a big part of it, at least from what we know, some people managed to sell. Billions of dollars were sold. Bithumb say they managed to recover a big part as well, over 93%, but it's still pretty unclear how much is left, what was withdrawn, what wasn't withdrawn. It's all kind of blurry. And honestly, it shows the risk with platforms like this. Like if I personally had crypto on Bithumb right now, I wouldn't feel confident after what just happened, because clearly there are some serious issues and serious mistakes. This is a huge problem. It's not a hack. We see hacks on exchange all the time, but you almost never see something like this, tens of billions of dollars accidentally gifted to users. On the topic of crypto exchange, we've got something wild involving the founder of Crypto.com, Chris, who did something also pretty crazy. He bought the domain AI.com for $70 million. There was also an ad, Super Bowl ad linked to it. The question is why? Why pay $70 million for a domain? I think we saw that with the Crypto.com domain did for them. Remember the exchange, in fact, the platform used to be called Monaco Coin, and buying Crypto.com helped them massively. I generally think Crypto.com wouldn't be Crypto.com without that domain. They would have had far fewer users, way less awareness. People just wouldn't have known the platform the same way. They took what was, from what I remember, a domain purchase of something like $10 to $12 million for Crypto.com. And now Chris is saying, okay, we're going to do even better now. Or rather, I'm going to do even better because he bought AI.com under his own name. It's not Crypto.com that bought AI.com, it's him. So yeah, what did he do with this site? For now, it's basically just a waitlist. The platform isn't launched yet, but you can reserve your spot on the website. And what is the platform going to be? It's going to be around AI agents. You know how much everyone's talking about AI agents right now. AI is everywhere. And something that's been making a lot of noise lately, it's OpenClaw. It used to be called CloudBot. It was then called MaltBot, and now it's OpenClaw. It's an AI agent you can configure on your own server. You can rent a server for $5 a month and install OpenClaw on it. Or if you have a Mac Mini or a server at home, you can install OpenClaw on it. Then you need another subscription or another model. You connect to it, and after that, it can do a ton of things. This really feels like a Siri or Gemini on steroids, because it can run all the time. It can keep running. It can access your emails. It can basically do everything. It's kind of scary because it's so easily. You can so easily mess up and do some bad stuff because if you mess up the configuration, then all your emails, for instance, are exposed on the internet. There are people who have had their conversation available online because they misconfigured OpenClaw. And the idea is to make kind of OpenClaw, to use OpenClaw, but to make it more secure, simple to use for the widest audience. I don't think that was the only original idea, but he saw that OpenClaw worked and thought, all right, we're going to talk about that for now. This is the moment. And that's how he's trying to launch a new service. And you'll notice that on his X account, he removed from his handle Crypto.com. It's only say for now AI.com. Anyway, next we're going to talk about Donald Trump and a bunch of other topics. Quick reminder, you already know, I believe, that Donald Trump did a lot of stuff with cryptocurrencies since he has been elected, and we're going to talk about this. The Wall Street Journal has just released an article about crypto and the Trump family and World Liberty Financial, you know, their project, WLFEI, sorry. And the key takeaway is they made more than $1.2 billion directly in cash. How did that happen? Well, there was first the token sale, the ICO, which brought around $500 million. Then there was the Abu Dhabi fund that also invested $500 million. Then there was this kind of treasury company move they did. They bought the company called Alt5. The company then raised $700 million from investors. And that money was used to buy WLFI token. Not shares, really tokens. They did not buy this on the open market. They bought it directly from the company, from the World Liberty Financial Company. So they were able to pull another $700 million thanks to that. So in total, that's more than $1 billion, $1.2 billion straight into the Trump's family's pockets. And it's not really sitting, like I say, it's not sitting in the company's treasury, it's really in their pockets. There's also the Witkoff family, who are friends of the Trump family, that also earned part of this. And honestly, Trump has already generated an insane amount of money in an extremely short time. The example they gave, it's if you look at the whole Trump business, real estate, golf, the Trump brand, and so on, between 2010 and 2017, that's 8 years, they generated $1.2 billion. Here, in almost 1 year, they generated the same amount. That's huge. Their ability to generate cash through crypto has been massive. We know these numbers because there were complaints, lawsuits, and stuff like this, and that's how we know how much money Donald Trump generated between 2010 and 2017. So yeah, what bothers me here is I think it's bad news for the WLFI token because you can clearly see that a lot of money is moving around, but the token doesn't get any of it, almost any of it, because the majority of the token of the treasury company was bought directly from the company, so not on the open market. And the buyback, there's almost no buyback. The WLFI token doesn't really capture value. This isn't a real revenue source being generated. There is no real revenue source being generated for now. So yeah, I don't really like this token for now because they have to change the tokenomics. So they have to find something to give this token a lot of value. But for now, there is nothing. So yeah. Next, let's talk about XRP. I found this article on the Defiant, and it points to an article on Ripple.com, the official website, where they explain that there's better integration now for the XRP token for institutional players. They're already trying to bring back and remarket the XRP utility angle, meaning how XRP is actually used. And honestly, I think it's a fair criticism because I'm the first to have, and I've said it about XRP, there's very little real utility being given to XRP. And with RLUSD, their stablecoin, XRP could end up having even less utility. So now they're clearly trying to recenter everything around XRP, and that's a good thing. If you're interested, read this article. It covers a lot of things. Now, today is the public launch of Mega. Mega is the new layer 2 that's supposed to have completely crazy performances. They're talking about 100,000 transactions per second, latency below 25 milliseconds. It opens up some massive range of possibilities for a real-time crypto application with very low fees. And they also have this system where they only launch their token if certain KPI and performance milestones are reached. For example, they said we won't launch the token until there are at least 3 different apps generating $50K fees for 30 days straight, or until there's at least $500 million of their stablecoin, the USDM. So they're really trying to do different things, and I like that. They don't want to launch a token just to launch a token. They will launch it when the ecosystem is ready, when there's real interest, real traction. And if they don't hit those KPI, then they just won't launch the token, and maybe they will just refund the ICO, who knows. Next, ENS. Ethereum name services, they were supposed to launch an L2. And after Vitalik Latest post about L2 and the idea that L2s aren't really the future of Ethereum, ENS basically said, okay, we're stopping that. We're not launching an L2 anymore. In the end, they're saying we can just do everything on L1, on Ethereum itself. And honestly, that's good for Ethereum, because if more apps come back in a way, or at least don't leave the main network, I think that's a good sign. And I told you I'm pretty into this newer vision. I made a video about lean Ethereum. It can go to tens of thousands of transactions per second without sacrificing decentralization. So yeah, we need fewer L2. At least L2s should only exist if they have a real reason to exist. They have something to add that is really specific. And to finish, a small NFT news I used to be pretty into NFTs for a while. Justin Bieber bought an NFT a few years ago for $1.3 million. Even back then, it was seen as kind of weird because it was a floor NFT. It was a floor Broad Ape Yacht Club. So it was the basic level, not some ultra rare NFT. And he paid $1.3 million. And now if you look at that type of NFT today, how much does it cost if someone wants to buy one? Well, it costs around $12,000. So yeah, he lost about 99% of the value in a few years. That's a very bad investment. But we know it, NFTs were a speculative bubble. Now it's shifted, I'd say, more towards meme coins. And even if it's not meme coins, later it will be something else. There will always be a new way to speculate. And yeah, obviously people make bad investment. That's why after a while, I tried speculating around NFTs, doing some trades and stuff like this. I realized this isn't what I master best. So I stopped that and I focused on crypto investments. I actually understand on the narratives I know, like DeFi